right, everybody. Once again, it's on, man. This is the Rapping Wrestling Podcast put on by Urban Combat Wrestling. I am Spaceman Jones. And I'm saying what's happening to the world for my homeboys, Mook, the BTSG, and Alan Brody. They won't be joining us tonight. Well, Brody might tap in a little bit later, but Mook will not be with us tonight. And we got a very special guest on. We got the man that runs Firestar Pro Wrestling out of Greensboro, North Carolina, Labron Kozone, man. How you feeling tonight, bro?
I'm all right, and it's blessed to, still be able to do what I love to do, even through all this craziness going on,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. For the folks that don't know about you and don't know who you are, if you want to give them an introduction to who you are, brother.
Yeah, pretty much. I've always seen myself as a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. I've always wanted to do it ever since I was young. And I've pretty much been the type of person just to have the courage to do and try anything. And that led me to, actually take a career into the pro wrestling industry, which is a risk of itself.
Oh,
and
man,
then,
risk.
Yeah, and not only that, but actually testing the waters within promoting and starting my own promotion.
Yeah.
And, not only that, but actually teaching professional wrestling, especially at a very young age. When I first started teaching, a lot of backlash came my way because, I didn't have nothing to prove, but, just years of hard work and not giving up and just, staying with the open mind and continue to being a sponge and a student of the game. The people that criticized me back in the day, they're now praising, the works of the school and the talent that's coming out of it. So, just the young man is just blessed to make an impact.
Yeah, man. I definitely appreciate the sentiment that you just relayed to us, man. That's something that we find as challenges at Urban Combat Wrestling, being a brand new wrestling promotion. Like I say, we've been in business for a year. And we are brand new to the business as well. Myself and Mook and Alan Brody, we all are students of Ricky Morton down at the School of Morton down in Chuckey, Tennessee. Shout out to Ricky Morton. That's my main man right there, man. Cool and slicker than a can of oil. You know what I'm saying? My boy always dipped up. But that's something that we find is that a lot of people kind of don't want you to be in business for yourself. They figure if you ain't been in the game for 10 or 15 years, then you have no business running anything. I myself, I think that that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And we are proving it every show. You know what I'm saying? So if you would like to speak a little bit more about that gatekeeper type of mentality that's in professional wrestling, and does it help or does it hurt us?
Here's one of the things I feel like I understand the mindset of it, because the mindset is just protecting the industry that we love, and to make sure that the operations within the business is being done correctly. So, so the business is growing, it's not dying. If somebody just comes into the business and does a terrible job, then that's a problem. But if somebody comes into the business and is doing a great job and doing great works and is making a change and a difference in a positive way, that's a great thing. And I feel like we should definitely recognize the difference. I don't believe in just judging somebody based on the numbers of months that they've been involved in the industry, but see their intent and their fruit and just see what they produce. And if it's something worth investing in, to support it. That's what I'm all about.
True that. On the Rapping Wrestling Podcast, man, we like to kind of get the bullshit out the way. So we always ask this question. If you had like a magic wand and you could get rid of one thing in the wrestling business, like in the locker room, if you had just a mat and you could just say, presto, change-o, be gone. What would it be?
Man, I don't know, like, the locker room's the locker room, but thing that I wish I can change is just how we as an industry as a whole just lost the believability factor of what we do. Like that's the one thing that made it so exciting for me as a fan, is not knowing everything and actually being shocked of the little things that's going on. So if there was more believability in wrestling, I feel like a lot more people would enjoy it.
Okay. Well, I have kind of another side, another way of looking at that. I think that right now more people are watching wrestling. The numbers of people that are watching wrestling are greater than any other time probably in wrestling history. You got more people tuning in on YouTube. They tuning in to Friday night, Wednesday night, Monday night. They tapping in on Tuesdays on NWA. They tapping in on Thursdays when MLW and PCW, all of those people drop new episodes. More people are watching wrestling now than ever. Than when kayfabe so-called was kind of ruling and everybody kind of believed. There's more people watching wrestling now. Do we really have to? The believability, I think that the believability comes with the work inside of the ring. I think that right there is where we get it at, because they come to the shows to suspend their belief for a couple hours or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, I done said this so many times on this show, they've been knowing it was a work since Jack Pfeffer.
Yeah.
You know?
And I definitely agree with that. That's why I take my job so serious when it comes to, just teaching the basics and the things that you do inside of the ring to help, keep people's disbelief suspended. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basically what I meant right there. So yeah, most definitely.
Oh yeah, man. That's something that we because at Urban Combat Wrestling, man, we mix rap and wrestling. We have rappers in the ring in between the matches. Like it's a whole vibe with it, But the wrestling is that good old Southern based wrestling where the bad guys,
I think I say
good guys.
And like the fans, they were really into what was going on. That's a great thing to see.
Well, and that's another thing. Me and Mook both come from music background, so we was already kind of over in the town with the rap stuff that we did. Okay. So the whole crowd is kind of rap fans, you know what I'm saying, and music fans who come out to see the spectacle. But in the year that we've been running, we done turned a lot of rap fans into wrestling fans. Maybe half of our crowd has never seen wrestling live,
and that's very special too. Like when I first started doing shows in Greensboro, we had a large African American audience that wasn't really familiar with pro wrestling in Greensboro, because we really targeted group homes. We used to sponsor kids that would stay at group homes, because I worked at a group home for about 6 years, and my dad's been managing group homes for almost 30 years, so he had to contact the different organizations that could use that different activity just to get the kids out and witness something different. So it's definitely a joy to wrestle in front of people that are not really familiar with what's going on, that can actually enjoy
I had mentioned C3W earlier. There's some brothers out of DC. Shout out to Richie Fingers and Casino Hayes. They run Capital Combat Wrestling. Capital Championship Combat Wrestling, something like that. But it's C3W out of DC. And when we went to their show back around in February, we went up there and we took a match up there, and they had so many kids. And it was the most black people I ever seen in the building at one time. It was like 500 black people watching professional wrestling. And I had a spiritual moment. I was standing in the crowd and I had a spiritual moment. I was like, man, I ain't never seen this many black people together watching wrestling and
it's like, especially in the area, like when I got into the industry. And I'm thankful for every avenue and everybody that's helped me get to the position where I'm at. But when I first stepped into a wrestling environment, man, there were just rebel flags everywhere. Everybody rocking rebel flags, and like really, when I walked in, I got scared. I was still in high school at the time, And yeah, I thought I walked into a clan meeting or something.
Yeah.
And then I saw a wrestling ring, and I was like, okay, I'm at the right place. But you know, it's just ever since then, it's just been at the back of my head, you know, just enduring whatever and whoever, just to, you know, just keep the promise ahead of me.
Yeah.
But to, you know, just change out the environment a little bit, I feel like it's definitely cool.
Well, and that's something that, man, I know that Mook had told me this story about going down to the School of Morton the first time, and just the environment. It was like no black people, and these are like super country guys. You know what I'm saying? And I felt that vibe too when I had got there. You know, and then traveling with the school over the time that I was with them doing commentary and whatnot, going to Virginia and Georgia and just country places.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Mook had started seeing that there was a void in wrestling, you know, and we wanted to fill that void. So I think that we are kind of kindred spirits as far as like being in these like kind of white dominated places, you know what I'm saying, but still loving wrestling and knowing that wanting to do it kind of for the folks, for the culture, you know, it's kind of popular hashtag in so quote unquote black wrestling right now. And that's something that we definitely look at. So man, we've been talking about some, you know, going to different places and dealing with different cultures in wrestling, especially if you're a black man and going into predominantly redneck areas, it's a challenge. And sometimes you can walk away with depression or feeling bad or like not knowing if what you're doing is worth what you're going through, because you get a lot of that casual, kind of ignorant racism that happens in those areas. We always like to ask folks about lows and highs. You know what I'm saying? Like, was there a time where you was feeling in your life like at a really low point and professional wrestling was able to bring you out of it?
All I've known, you know, professional wrestling, like as a kid, you know, I've had really low social skills, you know, not the best even to this day, but you know, my main focus was professional wrestling all through school. And it helped me, like I actually did it on my senior project, and it helped me pass high school. So, you know, that's going back to my earliest days. But, you know, I've always looked at wrestling as, you know, an outlet. And I think the biggest and probably the deepest is just recently what we've all been going through with the corona impact on our lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, being quarantined. And I find myself, you know, inside the house eating crappy foods, you know, just picking up terrible habits, you know, just being unmotivated. And I wasn't enjoying myself and my mindset or anything. And that really motivated me to really start opening up the school back again. And I just felt like I needed some type of a drive or something that I can look forward to the next day to just keep my mind right.
Yeah,
because that's all we have, you know? And I felt like if I'm feeling this way, I'm pretty sure there's at least 10, 15 people that feel this, you know? So that's where wrestling is helping me. Like, I've been in the gym every day, been eating better, you know, all the bad habits that I developed, I pretty much cut out. So, you know, I feel like just recently is the probably the biggest help that wrestling has supported.
Was able to get you out of that kind of corona funk, man. I definitely can feel that, man. We were able to do some things during the quarantine that gave us a real boost, man. And I was real thankful for professional wrestling being there for me once again. Now we always get to this point in the conversation, man, and we like to talk about, you know, what we like in professional wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And we always, you hear this question a lot, but I just want to ask you, man, who is in your top 5 of workers, dead or alive, man? Let's see what LeBron It's on who he like.
Like of all time, or I'm sorry, your string froze up.
Oh, is it still froze? Yours just froze up. Man, I hope we ain't losing.
Hey, yo, you looking for some exclusive sneakers? You gotta check out Soul Lady 2 at 660 Merriman Avenue, Suite E, Asheville, North Carolina. Call them up, 704-268-9587. With so many dope and different flavors available for men, women, and some kid sizes, you are guaranteed to find a one-of-a-kind shoe for any occasion. SoulLady2.com.
All right, we back on. Yeah, man, we back on, man. All right, man, we back from commercial. We back from commercial.
I get one of my hot spots. So every time somebody calls me, it goes off.
Yeah. Hey, so we're talking about, man, your top 5, man, dead or alive workers in the business, man, guys you look up to, guys who you enjoy watching, guys who still have that mystique for you.
Man. Well, for me growing up, like, I've been a fan of the Hardys, Matt and Jeff. I gravitated towards them at a very young age. Of course, guys like The Rock. To me, The Rock is just incredible, and his talent, his skills go well beyond wrestling, as everybody sees. Of course, The Undertaker. The list goes on. But today's wrestling, I'm a big fan of Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like his style. I've always looked up to guys on the independents. When I was coming in, I looked up to guys like Caprice Coleman, and Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, man.
Just great guys, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring
too. And Carolina guys, because I'm a diehard North Carolina representative. You know what I'm saying? I feel like North Carolina breeds the coolest cats. We got the best athletes. We got the best food. We got the best music. You know what I'm saying? We got everything that's the best in Carolina. So whenever you say Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander, you're talking about 2 of the greatest ever to step in the square circle out of Carolina. Not black men, but period in the story. I noticed that you didn't have any NWA or WCW guys on your list at all. I'm kind of old school. I grew up on 605 Saturday night. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing, like with me, and like I said, like I can enjoy any type of wrestling, even crappy wrestling. I can sit there and have a good time just watching the wrestling.
I can laugh. I can get my rib on.
I enjoy it, and definitely being in my position and having to know what, why, and how we do what we do. It's important for me to go back and watch and study the old greats. The Arn Andersons, the Ric Flairs, the Matt and TAs, everybody from the not even from the past, but what's going on across seas in Japan, Libre. I love the European style of wrestling, World of Sport.
Yeah, World of Sport, man. I like that shit. Johnny Saint and the rest of them guys, man. Marty Jones.
Yes. So, I keep an eye open for pretty much any style. I've pretty much found that I have an appreciation of, all kinds of, even hardcore wrestling, like I'm good friends with New Jack. He comes to the school every once in a blue moon and tells his stories. So, I just learned to appreciate. But yeah, I didn't mention WCW or NWA because I started watching wrestling religiously around 2002.
Okay. Okay. So,
okay.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, I'm only 27 years old, but when I tell people that, they really don't believe it, just the way that I carry myself. But yeah,
Yeah, man. I got a son that's 22 years old, man, and when he was a little boy, we used to watch a lot of Attitude Era, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
uh, a whole lot of that, man. So and now he's a professional wrestler, so everything done came full circle for us. Um, I wanna ask you about um, your opinions on, you got on a Black Lives Matter T-shirt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, there's been a lot of upheaval in professional wrestling as of late. You know, everybody is kind of coming to the forefront and saying what they will and what they won't have in their promotion, in their locker room, and whatnot. And I know that we at Urban Combat Wrestling, we want to be a safe place for all workers, no matter what. We don't play no hazing. We don't believe in none of that stuff, man. So how do you feel right now about the whole speaking out movement?
Um, well, something it's really one is is really eye opening. Like especially like I don't understand like the trend that's going on, especially like in UK wrestling.
Yeah,
I understand, what actually you roll back the curtain, professional wrestling, is over sexualized. So I'm not surprised, uh, because just the foundation of what it is, of course, there's going to be people that get into the industry and try to take power their positions. It's not just professional wrestling; it's almost every industry ever. That's got guys is just abusing their power, and I hate it for those that are affected in it in a negative way. So it's just everything's just coming out to light, but with Firestar, and I try to keep a good eye on the things that are going on. I work with people of all ages. I've recently, like, I got kids as young as 15, that I train, and it's my main priority to make sure they don't have to go
deal
through
with that.
that. So if there's a safe place for them, that's where I want to be. I don't want them to come across any type of harm like that. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that people who take advantage of their power and just really give wrestling a bad taste. Like I hate it, like because everybody's just clicking on the hashtag speaking out and they're seeing wrestling story after wrestling story after wrestling story, and they're like, man, wrestling's pretty effed up.
Yeah,
And I tell all my new kids, what you do outside of the ring, it affects even more what you do inside the ring.
yes
You
it does.
know, so
Yes it does.
really, really got to watch what you do and how you treat people, because it definitely can affect your career and it'll ruin your reputation.
It will absolutely ruin your reputation. All of the work that you have done will be in vain, and you'll have to go and do something else with your life after you done spent your whole time learning and working in the wrestling business. And also, man, I think that it's time in life for everybody to kind of get the respect and the dignity that they deserve just for being a human being. You know what I'm saying? For too long, we done kind of it's done been okay to kick people, to kind of put people down, to kind of treat people less than they deserve to be treated because of X, Y, or Z. You know what I'm saying? And I think that this speaking out movement is kind of a step in the right direction. You know, there's a lot of traditions in wrestling, and I feel like are not there to the main thing in wrestling is putting butts in seats and making some money. And there's a lot of traditions that are not serving that. That's not serving having a conducive locker room. I've seen a lot of young people get ran away from the business because of the BS. They had a lot of potential and upside, and how can we tell this story in wrestling of good versus evil, of the good guy fighting insurmountable odds, and coming out on top? How can we tell that story if we are heels in the locker room and in life? How?
You can't. It's hard, and especially if we trying to suspend people's disbelief. And I'm supposed to work babyface, and I done raped everybody. Nobody's gonna want to cheer for me.
How's that gonna work? How's that gonna work? How is that gonna work? I mean, and then, well, we just got to think about the human cost of this too. These are people. You know what I'm saying? It comes a time where it's okay. Wrestling is one thing, but we're human beings out here trying to give people some joy, right? It's much more important for the workers in the back to be happy and to be safe and to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get a much better show. You're gonna get a much better promotion. You're gonna be able to create life. It ain't gonna be a whole line of broken lives and bodies. Like you can look at some of these big companies, and if you look at the weight that they've left, is people are just get ate up, chewed up, and spit back out. I think that wrestling can be better than that. I think that wrestling can be better than that. I think that this can be a life-affirming, positive, happy business that helps people overcome their greatest fears.
And like for me, wrestling has always been a happy place because I've never had the unfortunate to experience what a lot of people that are speaking out about has experienced. Like I never had any of that stuff done to me. Thankfully, I was just led through by the right people. And with that, to me, wrestling is the best industry in the world. But, so yeah, of course, like I feel like the bad needs to be weeded out so more people who want to enjoy what we do can get that same experience of believing that they're a part of the greatest industry in the world.
Yeah, man, I know that this has definitely been an eye-opening time for me because, man, I'm in my 40s. I haven't always lived a life of positivity. So, this has been like a real eye-opening time for me to look back, have a little bit of time to reflect, and to think about some of the things that I've done in my life. You know what I'm saying? That I might have overlooked at another time. People who I done overlooked and treated bad. So it's been a real reflective time for me as well to kind of make sure that I'm on the right track. Do you have any experiences of that during this time of just reflecting and looking back and say, what? Man, I could have did different at that point.
That's pretty much the biggest benefit that I can take out of being in quarantine. It's just time to think and focus about ourselves and ponder, my own life. And, and I've been come to that realization, ain't nobody in the world perfect, like me, I'm a forgiving person. We all but still when it gets to a certain point, things have to change when it comes to certain issues. But yeah, I can definitely say that I've reflected over my whole life, like, where do I see myself in the next 20 or 30 years? And, if continuing pro wrestling isn't all worth it, of course, I feel like every thought has came through my head. But my thing is just, and what has always been is just remaining steadfast through the journey, because there's going to be highs and lows, but just remaining steadfast and just not giving up.
True that, man.
That's the end.
Yeah, man. You only fail, man. The only time you truly fail is when you give up. I done known out of life, man, having to fight back from several self-imposed drawbacks. You know what I'm saying? For me, man, if I don't take responsibility for my life and for the way that I act, the way that I think, the way that I speak, the way that I work, If I don't take responsibility for that, then I'm gonna stay a victim, and somebody else gonna have the power over whether I'm able to reach my goals or not. For me, it's not a practical mindset to be irresponsible or to say, you know, that's your fault that I did that. It's not a practical mindset. I can't get nowhere like that. I got to be able to kind of keep myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? According to the morals that I done set up for myself. You know, and I think that if I'm able to do that, then I won't hurt as many people. You know what I'm saying? Versus me just going out willy-nilly doing whatever, however, whenever, to whoever. You know.
It was one thing, like something similar, but relating it to the ring. You know, a habit that I picked up, which I feel like is a good habit for anybody that finds themselves in the lead role position inside the ring. You know, when I was coming into the business, you know, as a ring wrestler, when I would make a mistake, you know, I would get the finger pointing, I would get the blame, get chewed out about it. But my thing now, if I'm in the ring with the less experienced person and I tell them to do something and they do it wrong, I don't blame them, but I blame myself because I'm the lead role of the match.
Yeah.
If I realize that they can't or shouldn't, they're not capable of doing something, I tell them to, I put that blame on myself.
Well, and also, I can see where you're coming from with that, because being in the lead role means that you have to do some research before you get in there.
Exactly.
So you got to know who you're getting in there with. You got to know what they can do and what they can't do, and that's a big philosophy of urban combat wrestling. Yeah. We don't book guys because of what we want them to do. We book guys because of what they can do. We book them in accordance to their skill set. And we say, okay, well, this guy right here, he's good at, he has a real Japanese strong style. His strikes are strong. He got great throws. Why would I try to put him doing something other than that chain wrestling or, you know, lucha passes or, you know, it's idiotic. You know what I'm saying? Use the tool for the job. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like what you said, man, if I'm in that lead role and I'm asking people to do something, it's my responsibility to assess their abilities before I ask them to do something. That's a part of being a leader. You got to know to put your aces in their places. You know, you got a whole toolbox. You can't be using your screwdriver, you know, to hammer nails with. It ain't gonna work. You know. I appreciate that mindset from you, man. And being a young brother, I'm very impressed with your poise, and I'm very impressed that you have been able to run Firestar Pro. You know, I heard about y'all through a guy named Austin West, man, who I was at School of Morton with for a long time, man. I seen that you had booked him, and I was like, wow, let me check this guy out, and I didn't know who was running the show. But I am extremely impressed with you, brother. And we're about coming to the end of our time for the Rap and Wrestling podcast, man. And we will see each other in person. You know what I'm saying? Fairly soon. I'm in the Greensboro area a lot. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm in the Greensboro area a whole lot. So we'll be seeing each other, man. I'll pull up on you, man.
Anytime, man. I'm here at the school just about every day, you know, not doing a class and doing a private training session. I just love being inside the ring. So whenever you want to drop by, you're more than welcome to.
And we'll see you, man. We'll see you very soon, man. I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us. You know what I'm saying? On the Rap and Wrestling podcast. And I appreciate you for doing what you're doing in the professional wrestling business, brother. We thank you. And I'm going to have to link you up. We're trying to put together a group of black wrestling promoters.
Okay.
You know, also with other black folks in the wrestling business that run podcasts, Jobber Tears podcast, Black Wrestling podcast, Weed and Wrestling podcast. There's a whole lot of guys who love professional wrestling. I love to tap you in with the community that we're building. Thank you so much, Labron Kozone. If you have anything that you want to pitch.
No, not really. My mind is empty. Just, you know, anybody that's looking to start their career in pro wrestling, just do their research and just don't give up and just follow your keep your goal in front of you. You know.
True that, man. We appreciate you. Thank you very much, man. This is the Rap and Wrestling Podcast. I am Spaceman Jones. For the homies, Mook the BTSG and the Finesse King, Alan F. Brody, man, we out of here. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with us every Friday morning on YouTube. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the bell and give us a like. Man, thank you very much, Labron Kozone. Peace.
Sure.